Okay, so I finally finished X-Files. I know, forever to get this up. And this show had a total of 11 seasons and 2 movies, and I watched every single one of them. Like, guys, it was a lot, but I did it, and I'm just so proud of myself. I watched everything. So this was a show that was recommended to me. I probably would not even have watched it otherwise. I was excited and nervous to give the show a try. This show first aired in 1993, and X-Files is about an FBI agent named Fox Mulder, and he believes in aliens. And the rest of the FBI doesn't believe him, and they think he's kind of crazy. So they decide to send someone to kind of like watch him and watch over him who's more realistic. And they decide to make Dana Scully his partner, and she's supposed to write reports on all the cases they do, kind of see if what he's doing is legitimate. So she's like working with him, kind of spying on him, but he is aware of all this. He's like, oh, you're the person they sent to like babysit me. But that is what the show is generally about, that they get these X-File cases, they go check them out together, and usually each one deals with something related back to aliens. And it's really cool how each show has like a different case. So if you're into things like that, or something like this interests you, definitely go watch all 11 seasons and come back and let me know what you thought. Right now, I'll be getting into some spoilers, so you can stop, or you can continue to listen. So like I said previously, this show is mainly about aliens. And throughout the show, they encounter many extraterrestrial events. They take on many cases and so many things happen. Throughout the show, Mulder is the believer, like I said, but Dana is a skeptic. She's a realist. She doesn't believe in any of this. She wants to debunk and find a realistic way in why certain things are happening when they take on these cases. Mulder is constantly trying to prove to Dana that all these weird things that you can't explain are alien related. And it doesn't help that whenever he tries to show her some type of proof, she's never there, or the proof somehow disappears. So he's really struggling over here trying to get this girl to believe him. So they are partners for many, many years, and so they do go on a lot of cases. And there is a point in the show when he asks her why she always doubts him, because every time there's an X-File, Mulder has a theory. And Scully always like, Mulder, that's ridiculous, stop it. She doesn't believe him. She always doubts him. She thinks what he's saying is kind of like ridiculous. But everything that he says, and he ends up being right. And he literally asks her in the show, he's like, why do you always do this? Why do you always doubt me? But then when we come to the end of this case, I end up being right. He's like, can you just trust me for once? And literally when he said that, I never related to him more, because I was like, literally that's what I was thinking. Like, Dana, this dude, literally it was every time they had a case, he would say a theory or like, this is what I think it is. And he was usually always right. But before he could prove it, he was right, she was like, Mulder, and stop being ridiculous. Like, this was constant. And I was like, girl, why don't once just, let's go with his theory for once. Okay. And then we can see, because 9 times out of 10 he's right, and y'all would have not wasted as much time if you weren't just diddly daddling and not believing him. Like, I understand you don't believe in this, but like, if this dude every time he's talking he's right, like, I would have been like, okay, let's try your idea first and then we'll see what happens. Finally, near like the later seasons, she starts to see proof and believes Mulder a little bit more. She's not 100% believer like him, but there's a lot of things that happen that she can't quite explain. Throughout the seasons, we see this man called the Smoking Man, and he's kind of like the big villain in the show. He is behind, like, he's not behind aliens, but he's like behind covering it up. Mulder wants to get the truth out. He wants people to be more aware, but the Smoking Man is trying to keep it hidden, not trying to disprove what he's doing, trying to stop Mulder from moving forward and telling the truth. So he's kind of like the villain in the show, and he's trying to stop Mulder from exposing aliens to the public. Naturally, in any show where there's a female and a male, I'm gonna assume they're gonna get together at some point in the show. So I'm over here rooting for them. And there's another reason, because in the pilot episode, it was like there was tension, there was like feelings, tension in there, and I was like, oh wow, they got real close. Like, I don't know, there seemed to be some connection within them, and I was like, oh, they're probably gonna get together. Y'all, this was when I say slow burn, this was the slowest burn I have ever seen. I was rooting for them since day one, right? And they literally didn't even get together till like the end of the seasons. And I was like, why? Why are you doing this to me? Like, why X-Files? And by the time they got, like, you see them get together, Mulder's basically like not on the show. It's like, what? There's so many seasons. There's 1 to 7. And so kind of near the end of 7, 8, we kind of see Mulder and Scully get together. But in seasons 1 to 7, it features mostly Mulder and Scully. But at the end of 7, we find out that Dana is pregnant, y'all. But we don't know who the father is. But by the end of season 8, we see that Mulder and Dana kiss, and we figure out 1 + 1 is 2. You know, he is the father. But it's like they never showed them together, like before her baby. Like they never showed them together. We just know she's pregnant, and we're like, is it Mulder's baby? Because that's what everybody's thinking. But we like never see them together, so we're like, okay, whose is it? But then near the end of the series, after the baby's born, we see that they kiss, and we're like, okay, we get it. We know who the father is. So as we get to season 8, Mulder's barely in the show. What happened in the show is he got abducted, and after that we really don't see him in season 8. When I say abducted, he got abducted by aliens. And so since Mulder's gone, a new character is introduced to the show, and that is Agent Doggett. He is tasked with finding Mulder and figuring out what happened to him. He also does not believe in aliens, so he kind of thinks Mulder is running away. He's like on the run, so he's trying to catch Mulder and find him. And so him and Scully don't get off on the wrong foot, because Scully's like, no, he got abducted by aliens. He's not a bad guy. He's not a runner. And Doggett's like, okay, sure, he got abducted by aliens, but this dude is nowhere to be found, so he ran away. So they're not on the best foot. But after they're not able to find Mulder right away, Doggett becomes a part of the X-Files team. So now it's him and Scully. I kind of see different roles in this relationship now. So now Dana is the believer and Doggett is the skeptic. And it's weird to kind of see Dana as the believer in the X-Files and all these weird things, because for so long we saw her as trying to be a realist and find a practical way for why things are happening. But now that's Agent Doggett, and Scully's like, no, this is aliens and everything. I guess she's been doing it so long. Now she's starting to believe. So it's kind of weird in that dynamic, seeing her take a different role in this team. And then another character that's introduced in season 8 is Agent Reyes. So she's not 100% believer in the X-Files, but she's not 100% practical person either. She does believe and is more open to more unknown things that are out there. And she doesn't know everything that is out there, but she's willing to consider other possibilities. So she's like in between what Mulder would be and what Agent Doggett or Dana used to be. She's like in between. She's like, I'm not 100% believe in aliens, but I am open to other things in the world, other possibilities. So that's who we have in season 8. So as season 8 kind of starts, we kind of see Agent Doggett and Agent Reyes kind of become the new Dana and Mulder. They definitely have like a different dynamic than what Mulder and Scully did, which I do appreciate. I'm glad they didn't just try to put two new people in there to have the exact same relationship as Scully and Mulder. But even though they were kind of like a replacement, Scully and Mulder, they weren't the exact copycat. And after seeing Agent Doggett and Reyes, I kind of wish they brought them in sooner. I would have liked to see more of the dynamic between Agent Doggett and Mulder, because initially when they met each other, they didn't like each other. They hated it. Mulder did not trust him. So I would have loved to see that more and in previous seasons. And then I would have loved to see the 4 of them all together take on different cases. I think that would have been really cool if they introduced all 4 of them sooner. So by the time we get to season 9, I'm just going to tell you how they wrapped up these first 9 seasons. We can see less and less of Dana and Mulder. We see them near the end of the season 9 because, 2 main characters of the show, we need them. But before that, you kind of like 8 in season 9 is more Agent Doggett and Agent Reyes. We don't really see Mulder at all, and we don't really see Dana that much. She comes in here and there as like an expert or with her opinions and stuff in her experience on X-Files, but she's not really on there as much as she used to be. When we get to the end of season 9, they finally defeat the Smoky Man, and kind of it seems like that their jobs are completed, but we also kind of get some unanswered questions. So it is the end of the season. It seems like, okay, like, the world will not be 100% exposed to aliens, but at least we got rid of the Smoky Man and the people that were after us. At the end, it's like, do you think we'll be okay? Do you think everything will be all right? And they're like, I don't know, but that's their ending. So So that was the first 9 seasons. But then there are 2 more. So the show kind of got rebooted, and it came back in 2016 with seasons 10 and 11. And I was like, okay, the fans wanted more, so they gave them more. So seasons 10 and 11 come back 15 years later, and Dana and Mulder are back again. So in these seasons, there's definitely a difference in the way things are filmed. The graphics are a little bit more crisper, better special effects. In my opinion, like bigger budget, but honestly, it could just be the sign of the times that things have just gotten better as time has gone on. So that could be the reason. But you definitely see a difference within the filming of the shows. So as I said, Dana and Mulder had a son, but what I didn't mention before is that they had to give up their son. They were being followed. People were after their son because he was special. He was different. So they decided to give him up for adoption, to have him have a normal life, and for him to be safe. I feel like season 10 and 11, even though we do focus on Mulder and Dana with some new X-File cases, I think the main focus on these 2 seasons is them seeing their son as he is older. And another big thing of this season is an alien virus that happens near the end of the seasons. So I feel like those are 2 main things. Like, we do get the X-File cases, but I think the general theme within these 2 seasons is like, okay, Dana and Mulder's son is older, and they see him, and he still is special and has these powers. And what does that mean? And then there's this virus, and their son's kind of like the key to everything. And guess who's also in these seasons? The Smoking Man. Guys, I thought he died. Like, I thought he was dead at the end of season 9. But no, this dude's like a cockroach. Like, he can survive anything, like crazy. But we're gonna dwindle down, and let's tell you how everything wrapped up at the end of these seasons for 10 and 11. So Dana and Mulder's son William, like I had mentioned before, well, he isn't really their son. So he is Dana's son, but it turns out his father is the Smoking Man. Yes, the Smoking Man is his father. And guess who else the Smoking Man's father is? Mulder. So Mulder and his son have the same biological father. Like when I tell you that plot twist, when they revealed that, y'all, I was not ready, and I didn't want it. I was like, this dude's disgusting. And Dana really thought Mulder was the father of her son. She didn't know that this dude gave her an alien child and impregnated her. So yeah, that's one thing I can 100% guarantee I did not see coming, that this dude, the Smoking, would be the father of Dana's baby, and I did not like it. I was like, y'all come. I'm like, was it a good plot twist? Yeah, it was, because I didn't expect it. Did I like it? No, but it was a good one. Also, near the end of the season, we see people are after William, because there is this, near the end of the season, this alien virus going around, and he's the key. He is the key to all of this. They need him. But there's like people after him, and he has powers. Like, this dude is special, and sometimes his powers are very scary, because he killed a lot of people trying to protect himself, but still killed a lot of people. And so he's on the run. He doesn't know who to trust. So Dana and Mulder are looking for him, but also the Smoking Man, and they're trying to find him before each other. But William's like, he doesn't want to do this anymore. He doesn't want to run. He wants it to end. So he has an idea. So they're all looking for William in this like shipyard area in this last scene of the show. And he comes out, he disguises himself as Mulder. And he's talking to the Smoking Man, because the Smoking Man really wants William. But he comes up as Mulder because he's like, oh, I know. He does not like Mulder. So the kid goes up to the Smoking Man, irritates him, makes him very angry. This dude shoots the kid in the head, thinking that he's Mulder. And then Mulder hears the bang, comes out, sees the Smoking Man has a gun, shoots him. In that moment, the Smoking Man realizes what he does. He's like, no, I didn't shoot the real Mulder. But he's dead. Or I hope he's dead. I don't know. Like, I don't know. They could reboot the show again and he just comes back alive. But Mulder shoots him. He's done. And him and Dana are together again. And it turns out that she is pregnant again with their actual child. So yeah, that's the general synopsis of season 1 through 11 of X-Files. It was just so much to go through. I did not go through each and every season, and I feel like you get generally what it is, because it's not one of the shows where the plot changes every season or it's a continuous thing. It's like every episode is a different case and then they solve the case. But I just want to say I really enjoy watching this show. It definitely had like those filler episodes that you see with shows at this time. It was like 11 season show with like almost 20 episodes every season. but it went for 11 seasons and 2 movies, so it was doing something well. I would give it the rating of 4 stars. I really liked it. I enjoyed how each episode was like a new case, a new X-File they needed to solve. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like the Twilight Zone. Haven't seen a lot of the Twilight Zone, but some of the episodes I've seen, it reminded me of X-Files, because like some of the cases that they solved, or like when an episode finished, sometimes the case wasn't always solved, but they figured out what was causing certain events. So things like that, like it's solved but unsolved. There's like, it's finished but there's still some unanswered questions. Like a couple episodes were like that, not all of them, but just a couple of them. So it kind of gave me like a Twilight Zone-esque type of vibe. And I think I really liked how it was filmed, just because of the time it was filmed, and I just love the nostalgia of just seeing the old just seeing old TV shows and how they looked, and I just really, really liked it. Overall, I'm glad I watched the show. I'm glad someone recommended this to me, because I don't think I would ever have watched this otherwise, but I really, really enjoyed it, and it was definitely a show I could put on and watch the episodes and just do other things, but it was really, really good. It definitely took me a while to get through, because there's just so many episodes and so many seasons, but I wouldn't regret it. I would definitely, I really, really enjoyed this show. If you are interested, if you're into like supernatural, I'm not saying this is specifically supernatural, but if you're into like supernatural things, if you're into like alien-esque shows, definitely give this one a try. I think if you like things like that, this might be something you would enjoy and might want to watch the entire 11 season. Definitely something you can watch for an entire summer if you need a new summer show. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. 4 stars. It was great. If you have seen X-Files, what did you think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Or were you someone who watched it when it first came out? Or did you kind of just get into it now? And for this show, since it was 11 seasons, I did do a recap of each season on my blog. So I will link maybe one or a couple of those below for you guys to check out, where you guys can go see what I thought of each season. It was a process. It took me a while, but I did that. And if your guys are interested in any other binges that I've done, which usually anything with 5 or more seasons, I try to binge and break down the seasons, and then I do a video review here. Definitely go check those out. But yeah, for X-Files, since it was so long, I broke down all the seasons on my blog post, and I'm just doing a general video review here. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you have a good rest of your day, week, month, and hopefully a good rest of your year. And until next time, bye.